sometimes have a bone to pick with campers when they come in, and I'm pretty sure we are not the only campground owners around to feel the same way. Every campground is different, but we are all the same when it comes to this unwritten rule. That unwritten rule is reading and following our rules that we have set. I'm going to walk around our campground and talk to you about our 8 rules. Maybe it's 9, I can't remember, that we feel like don't really get taken seriously, and it's kind of frustrating. And if it kind of seems like I'm pushing a stroller, it's because I am. Walker, our youngest, did not take a nap, and he has not been taking a nap when he should be taking a nap. So he's sleeping, and we're gonna keep that way. I feel like our first rule is really fitting for this gate, and that is guests are not free. So if you are camping and it's you and your husband and your 3 kids, you are all paid for when you register. But if grandma and grandpa comes and they bring your nieces and nephews with them, they unfortunately do need to pay. And honestly, I like to be upfront about stuff. We shouldn't have to tell you, well, why is there a guest fee? Or really, we shouldn't have to hear, well, why is there a guest fee? Because there is. Please do not argue with us about our fees for guests. Brent and Dylan are actually working on something, and I feel like Brent is the best person for this next rule. If you know what I'm talking about, you know why Brent is the best person to talk about this one. If you're a seasonal, you for sure know. Oh, there he is. Okay, I'm talking about our rules and how we have them in place for a reason. And I figured you would be the perfect person to talk about this next one and why we have it in place. Do you have any guess on what it is?
I do not.
No idea at all. There's one rule that you want everyone to follow, and yet you seem like you have the hardest time getting people to follow it.
The speed limit.
Yes. So we have a 5-mile-an-hour speed limit. Why?
Because if one kid got hurt, it would impact this campground for the rest of their life. The rest of the, too bad.
For the rest of the time this campground is around is what he's saying. There would always be that day, that moment lingering in everyone's mind. Okay. So I went to Brent for that one because he is always getting on people about speed speeding. Yeah, our roads, as you can see in all of our campsites, are close. Everything is close in proximity. I can't say this enough. Our campground is old and everything was just smaller back then. So roads didn't have to be as big. They didn't have to be big, massive turns and everything. So yeah, just drive slow. Slow and steady. You're here to relax. So don't get your panties in a wad when you're having to wait and then you want to get to your site as fast as you can. It's okay. You'll get there. I promise. Okay? And I'm sure if you've got kids, you would not want them to get hurt at our campground. We don't want our kids to get hurt. So just drive slow. Let's talk about another one that I feel like everybody appreciates. Quiet hours. Can just bring so much peace, especially when you've had like a great day. You've been out fishing, the kids were swimming, playing at the playground, going and getting ice cream at the store, going back to the pond to feed our fish. Like, it was a amazing day, and then all of a sudden you've got neighbors or something is super loud at 12 o'clock at night. Just be respectful to your neighbors. And once again, our sites are closer. It is not a hidden secret here at Hoffman Lake Campground. Our sites are smaller, and that might be in the works in the future to make them bigger. I have petitioned for that to Brent. Don't get me wrong, I have done it. But as for right now, it just doesn't make sense for us. So until then, and even after that, be respectful of all your neighbors and pay attention to the quiet hours. I'm sitting here at cabin 1 looking out across the lake, and let me tell you what, these views, man, fire ring right there. Which brings me to my next point. Say it once, and I'll say it again. Our sites are small. Our sites are small. The bigger the camper, the smaller the site. Which means you cannot move my fire rings. And I call them mine. They're not Brent's, they're mine. Because this rule really, it's my biggest rule besides my next point that I'll get to. But do not move my fire rings. Don't move them. And I will tell you why I'm so passionate about this rule. We like our grass. We love our grass here. But when you move one of our fire rings to a spot that is more accommodating for you for this one weekend that you're here, that means I now have 2 burn holes on that one site. And now grass isn't going to grow there for a while. Which means I've got this ugly dirt spot with your ashes right there for somebody else. And then the next person, they don't like it there, so they're going to move it somewhere. Just don't. And I'm so passionate about this that I have started to charge people if they move the fire ring. Let me back up a step here. Every time when somebody checks in, we make sure to go over our major rules, and that is the speeding, the fire rings, and then my next point, because it ruins our sites. We are not state parks. Well, the state parks that I've been to, let me say that, we have grass on our sites. And when you continue to move the fire rings wherever you want, that doesn't allow grass to grow in that spot. So then our sites just become dirt. And dirt's not fun for your fun weekend. So I have started charging people for it, because now I have to potentially close that site off, clean up the mess that you've made, put new dirt down, and then grass seed it. And then if I don't close off that site, then somebody else is going to run all over that grass seed, and then it's not going to grow. So if you get anything out of this video, make it be our 3 most talked about points when you check in, which is don't speed, 5 miles an hour, please. Don't move my fire rings or I'll charge you $50. And my next point, which is this 3rd point for the top 3 rules to follow for Hoffman Lake Campground, is I don't like saying this as a fellow camper myself, but I understand my own rule. If you know how much we like our grass, no rugs or mats. Oh, I know. If this video gets seen enough that I'm gonna have a lot of hateful comments. And you know what? I have come to really appreciate my own rule, because now our grass is, it's getting there. It's getting to the point where we want it, and it's not something that we have to continuously go back and grass seed when we get to that point. So we put this rule in place 2022, I want to say. And that was because we have our full hookup sites and our concrete pads are extremely popular. And during June and July, those sites are rented out a lot, especially C1 and M1, M2, 4, 6, the ones that you can see the lake where it's still full hookup. And man, people will book those out for like a week at a time, 4 days, whatever. And they'll have a rug down. Well, during that time, it could not rain. So we've got somebody who's got a 5x7 outdoor rug on that grass. They leave on Friday. Somebody comes in on that Friday, puts a rug down in close to the same spot, leaves on Monday. Somebody comes in on Wednesday, puts a rug down in about the same spot. Well, if you catch my drift here, it is killing the grass in that one spot. And just like moving a fire ring, it is creating dirt. And grass can't grow in an area where there is hard dirt and where there's a lot of foot traffic. So unfortunately, we have cut off the rugs and the mats. And like I said, from a fellow camper, I don't like this idea, but as long as there's nice grass area, it's not that big of a deal, because you can put a rug on the inside of your camper. I know it might create more sweeping for you or a little bit more cleanup, but please try and look at it from an owner's perspective of having to maintain that grass, and think about the other people that are coming in behind you. They don't want a dead spot of dirt for their kid or their dog to play in. So I'm sorry. I know I probably have a lot of people that do not like that rule, and that's okay. That's okay. This is a pretty common rule. Put my hood up. It's chilly. It's just the breeze. It's a nice day, but just a cold breeze. This next rule isn't as, it's a more common rule, and that is pick up your dog's poop. Pick it up. I don't care how big the area is or if nobody else walks out in that area. I don't care. Pick it up. Because what if my kids are throwing a football out in that area and then they step in your dog's poop? I don't want that in my house. I don't want it. At one point, I put on the rules, if I see you leaving your dog's poop somewhere and you don't pick it up, I'll go pick it up and I'll put it on your doorstep of your camper. Now, have I caught anybody? Yes. Did I just confront them about it? Yes. But just pick up your dog's poop. You know that when you take your dog out in a public area, if you're walking them in town, if you are walking them in another campground, everyone picks up their dog's poop. Just pick it up and keep them on a leash. I have had lots of dogs come running out at me because they don't know me and I'm just walking by. So keep your dog on a leash because you do not know how your dog is going to interact with another dog. They might see one and be like, I don't like you this time, but I liked you the last lap around that you had. Pick up your dog's poop and keep him on a leash. Please and thank you. So cold. So cold. So if you've ever been to Hoffman Lake Campground, you would know that our seasonals can have golf carts. We, as the owners and employees, have golf carts. But unfortunately, we do not feel that it is safe enough to have weekenders bring golf carts. We really aren't that big, and we like to keep down traffic as much as possible because of how close our park is to the road, how many people are in just this 36 acres for the campground. So unfortunately, we do not allow golf carts to be brought in by weekenders. And yes, that does include an ATV. Some people have tried to pull a fast one on me one time, and I'm like, yeah, no. They're like, well, you guys have one. Yes, thank you, Captain Obvious. We hand out gate cards so that people can come in and out of our campground without having somebody manning our gate. And those cards cost a good amount of money for us to buy. So when you do register and check in, we give you 2 cards if needed. And we do put a $20 hold on your account so that if you do not bring it back, we can replace them. And we have had to do that because people are like, oh, I lost it. I'm like, I'm sorry, but we have to charge you for that because now we don't have another one for that same site when the next person checks in. So we have to make a new one. It's not cheap. So when you get a card, please be responsible and put it somewhere in your vehicle where you know you're going to get it, or where you know it'll be safe. And you can either bring it back into the store when you're done and checking out, or you can put it in our box that is connected to our exit gate. But along with that gate card, you do not get to freely let in anybody you please. This once again goes with our guest pass thing. You have to pay for your guest, and we want to know who's here. Like, it helps us be able to track how many people are in and out of our campground, and we like to know if it shouldn't be somebody that is here, if you know what I'm talking about. So it is for you and the people on your site that are camping there for that time being, not for whoever you think should be coming in or whatnot. So please keep your gate card where it is safe and do not let in anybody. Lastly, if there happens to be a storm rolling in that is too strong for people to be staying in their campers, our safe spots, safe places, are our bathhouses. They are made out of concrete, blocks, concrete, I don't really know. I think it's blocks. But those are the places for everyone to go. We have big bathrooms, which is perfect, away from the windows, and it is very safe in there. So in case of a storm or an emergency, those are the places to go. Those are our rules. There are a couple more, but the ones that I felt like I needed to make a video on were these 9. And as a campground owner, and I feel like I can speak for majority of other campground owners, we just appreciate it if you read the rules, take time to read them. For our campground, we send them to you before you even arrive, and you have to sign off on them either before you get here through the email, electronic signature, or when you arrive. So I hate to say this, you're just being ignorant and not reading them, or you just don't care. And be respectful, please. We don't have the rules to be mean or to just have them for no reason. They're to keep you safe, they're to keep our park clean, and to help everybody around you enjoy it while you're here.